The Rated R Superstar makes it to the Heroes of SummerSlam. What is up, guys? It's me, the Ayo Elite Double X Prince. And I'm back with Heroes of SummerSlam. And I'm back on YouTube. You guys might wonder where the hell I was. I was actually on vacation. I put it on Twitter. Link down below to my Twitter. Yeah, I was on vacation for a while. I was just taking time off. I just got out of work. And I also just got out of registering for college because I'm officially a student. Starting on the 21st. Yes. Can you believe it? After SummerSlam, it's a new beginning. I start school. So after SummerSlam, it's holy shit. It's almost time for a new beginning. Anyways, besides that, let's talk about the Heroes of SummerSlam. You know, Edge. The reason why I put Edge is because he has just been pretty much killing it in SummerSlam, because he was part of some pretty big feuds as far as SummerSlam goes, but you know, he just been killing it, whether it was a tag team partner, whether it was one-on-one. Most of his matches here were one-on-one, but you know, his tag matches, besides one of them, they're all been either good or you know what I'm saying. But honestly, he didn't really have a weak match at SummerSlam to begin. He has a total of 10 matches, so that's saying a lot. So we kick off 1998. It was Edge and Sable versus Marc, Mero, and Jacqueline in a mixed tag team match. I think this is like one of the few matches where people said Edge could be possibly a pretty solid mid-carder. Not quite a main eventer, but he was pretty good. Edge was doing a fantastic job here, even with Sable. You know, you may know him from Edge and Christian, but this time he just tore the house down with Sable, and he took on Marc, Mero, and Jacqueline, which was a pretty solid mixed tag team match to say the least. 1999 was pretty forgettable. He was part of a mixed. No, he wasn't a mixed tag. He was a part of a tag team Turmoil match. I forgot who. I forgot most of this match. It was kind of like all over the place, but all I remember is that the Acolytes won, APA, JBL, and Farouk. So that's about it. That's all I really remembered out of this match. So there's that. But after this is just going like way up, because this was awesome. He made history at SummerSlam 2000. He was the best part of SummerSlam 2000. Let's admit that. It was Edge and Christian versus the Dudleys versus the Hardys. Holy shit. This was great. The first ever TLC match. Honestly, the best TLC match. Another thing close to that is TLC 2. Nothing will ever top these TLC matches, and this was no different. This match was just fucking fantastic. Even with Lita's interference, there's a part where Edge spears Lita, and Lita's head hits a part of the ladder. It was just hardcore at its finest. I wish the Hardy Boys won this match. It would have made sense, but I guess not. Or, you know, somebody else. But, you know, I wasn't a big fan of Edge and Christian winning all the matches, but you can't deny that these matches were fucking fantastic. And easily one of the best matches in SummerSlam history. Holy shit. Just put three of the best tag teams of all time. These are literally my three favorite tag teams. And oddly enough, the one who won are my least favorite out of the three. But still, these are my three favorite tag teams ever. So you can't go wrong with that. And putting him in the first ever TLC match, that's an even bigger bonus for me. Easily one of the greatest matches of all time. 2001 was a bit different for Edge. He started doing stuff on his own. You know, Edge and Christian were splitting up a little after. And, you know, Edge was part of the Invasion storyline. He was pretty much the most underrated part of the whole Invasion storyline, because he did try his best to do other things in this storyline. But, you know, he takes on Lance Storm, beats him for the IC belt. And you know what? It was good that Edge became IC champion. I think this is like his second run. I remember that his first one, he won it at a house show. He beat Jeff Jarrett and then lost it like the next day or something. So it's pretty sucky. But this time they gave him a shot with the IC belt. It was going pretty decent, you know, but he wasn't quite yet ready, you know, to be the top guy that we know and love today. And SummerSlam 2002, he was part of a great feud with Eddie Guerrero. He took on Eddie Guerrero here. He fought him. It was a freaking good match. not the best out of these guys. If anything, I would have to give it to the one in SmackDown September 2002. That was just a fantastic no disqualification match. This was just like a bonus for me, but it was still a good match. But that street fight at SmackDown, you gotta watch it. It's just really damn good. And Edge even won this match, so there's that another bonus for me. At this point, he's only lost one match against the Acolytes or the Tag Team Turmoil, which I mean barely even counts. 2004, he was part of a very disappointing IC triple threat match. Let's listen to the names here. You got Edge as the Intercontinental Champion. You got Batista and Chris Jericho. You got three pretty solid names in the Ruthless Aggression era. And the match was not that great for all I remember. All I remember was just like maybe the crowd just being assholes and booing everybody. I believe they were in Edge's hometown and I remember they were booing him. I think they were cheering Batista. I don't know. This crowd was fucking confusing. But it was just like a really weird feud. And it was just kind of a clusterfuck for me. I know some people like it. I'm not the biggest fan of it. I thought it was okay. Edge retained, so big bonus for me. Now, 2005, he was possibly in his best singles run ever, even though it wasn't intended to. Edge versus Matt Hardy. Now, 2005 match card looks actually pretty solid. You got John Cena versus Chris Jericho. You got Hogan and Michaels, which, let's be honest, that match wasn't that good. You had Undertaker and Randy Orton. You got Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio. But the most exciting match was Edge and Matt Hardy, simply because they brought reality to it. So Matt Hardy was dating Lita on screen and off screen of the storyline, but then Edge had an affair with Lita, even though he was married. They had an affair. They were dating. Matt Hardy loses it. He makes like a video talking shit. Then he gets fired from the company, but then they brought him back when they realized that this could be a big money match because Edge could have some serious heat and Matt Hardy really wants to kill Edge even though they were best friends. So it was something interesting that WWE did, but it was also kind of fucked up that they actually brought reality to it. I could feel that everybody felt uncomfortable in this storyline. Like Edge feels uncomfortable. He's like already screwed up with my wife and stuff. And there was all this shenanigans going on, and Matt Hardy is just ready to beat the crap out of Matt Hardy. And the match ends by stoppage. Matt Hardy beats the living shit out of Edge, and they had to stop the match because Matt Hardy didn't stop, and Edge just kind of knocked out. This eventually led to a steel cage match at Unforgiven, which was a billion times better than this match. It was still a good match, but damn, you can't top this. Damn, this was just fucking gold at its finest. But it was a good storyline, but it was like, I feel bad on. I mean, this match is okay. It was honestly the weakest Edge match, personally. Either that or the one in 2004. Simply for the fact that you didn't have the match that we could have gotten out of these two. So, there's that. 2006, he's in the main event of SummerSlam, taking on John Cena. And personally, I thought this was the match of the night. People say that Ric Flair and Mick Foley stole the show in the I Quit match. I thought it was good, not fantastic. DX versus the McMahons was weird. Chavo Guerrero and Rey Mysterio was a big letdown. Everything else was garbage at its finest. But I think Edge and John Cena did the best because they had a pretty good match. Edge and John Cena have an amazing feud. Very underrated. Honestly, John Cena's most underrated feud in my eyes. If not, maybe his feud with who could I say? Maybe Batista. I don't know. But Edge is definitely one that really sticks out. I actually like this feud a lot more than the Randy Orton feud. Simply for the fact that I'm tired of fucking seeing those matches. But yeah, Edge actually beats John Cena. He doesn't run away like a coward. He actually cheated to win because of Lita. So there's a difference between cheating to win and being a coward to win. So, and I like that Edge actually tried to, you know, still look strong with John Cena, because this feud was far from over, because this led to a TLC match at Unforgiven 2006. I mean, Edge is probably the king of Unforgiven. He had a great steel cage match. He had a great TLC match with Cena and Matt Hardy, two pretty meh wrestlers at the time. You know, eventually Matt Hardy becomes broken and John Cena becomes the face that runs the place, and you know, so you know that was like a bonus for us. 2007, I believe he was in an injury, so he wasn't there, or they just didn't put him there for some reason. But 2008, he was in the main event once again in a fantastic feud. This proved that Edge was already big. He did not need a world championship to be part of a fantastic feud, because Undertaker and Edge had a great feud in 2008. Honestly, one of the best things of 2008, that and Shawn Michaels and Jericho. This was just really good. Two good wrestlers just at their prime, just doing the best to give us one of the best Hell in a Cell matches of all time. This was a Hell in a Cell match with a TLC match at once. It was like really good. It was one of my favorite Hell in a Cell matches ever. It was just that damn good. I really enjoyed the match. Yes, Edge loses, but eventually, you know, he takes some time off before he comes back in 2000 and Survivor Series later down the year. But you know what? It was pretty good. Undertaker comes back, you know, because he got fired due to a storyline, but then Vicky Guerrero brought him back. So Edge is once again a big star now. So kudos for that. I really respect the hell out of Edge for, you know, just taking that bump itself when he lands on under the ring, like from the top of the ladder and shit. So, you know, basically he kind of carried the feud for the most part, but it was still a fantastic match. But enough of that. Let's talk about his last match at SummerSlam, and it was possibly one of the biggest letdowns of all time. Team WWE versus the Nexus. Now, Edge was kind of a big part of this story because he was a heel and he didn't want to team with John Cena. He left the team, but then he comes back with Jericho. Eventually, they turn on Cena later down during the match, and that's basically it for Edge. I mean, I guess he gets rolled up by Heath Slater. I mean, this kind of made no sense after all. Edge was going to turn into a babyface laterwards and feud with the Raw GM and then go to SmackDown. So, you know, they could have done something big with Edge in 2010, but that was it. Eventually, he had to retire. So, there's that. Edge overall had a pretty solid stacked years for freaking SummerSlam. He only lost twice. I mean, that was the tag turmoil match, which doesn't really count, and the Undertaker match, which was good. So honestly, if it wasn't for that tag team turmoil match, he pretty much has an undefeated streak at SummerSlam, and you know, and then Undertaker would have broken it. But you know, this was a pretty good pay-per-view for Edge to shine, because he just worked his ass off at SummerSlam. Eventually, he was part of the main event 3 times in his last 3 SummerSlams, so that's saying a lot. So yeah, his best match, easily the TLC match. You know, runner-up could be the Taker Hessel match. Another one, maybe Cena and Edge. You know, he had some pretty good mid-card matches, but he works his way to the top that make it stand out for him. He went from the tag division to the mid-card division to the main event, so that is really good for freaking Edge. As far as his worst match, I'll probably have to give it to Matt Hardy and Edge, simply because it was so disappointing how it ended. If not, I'll probably give it to the Nexus angle, because he wasn't really a big part of it. So there's that. Anyways, that'll be it. It's me, the ALE Prince. I'll be back with another Heroes of SummerSlam, and this time it will be someone who's undefeated. So anyways, it's me, the ALE Prince once again, and until then, I'm out.